We've got Raekwon Gray with us now, the Florida State redshirt junior forward. Raekwon, you want to give us a thumbs up here if you're good to go? Awesome. So once again, thanks to everyone for participating with us here this afternoon. We're joined by Raekwon Gray, and we'll begin the press conference. Don't forget, use the raised hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please be sure to state your name and affiliation first. And our first question here this afternoon will come from Mike with the Orlando Sentinel. Mike, go ahead.
Yeah, Raekwon, congratulations on the victory. Just curious, obviously you guys didn't get to play last year. How much are you guys sort of playing for last year's team? And also, how confident are you guys that you'll be able to make a run after today?
Yeah, like you said, last year we didn't get to, participate in this tournament. Everyone, was shut down. But, I mean, we're kind of playing for the guys that came before us. They set a legacy. We made some runs to the Sweet 16 and Elite 8, and I think that, we're confident that we have the team and the talent to, get to that Final Four and actually get over that hump. So, I mean, we're carrying a lot of pride with us for Florida State, our university, and, the guys that came before us. So, that's definitely our motivation, going forward, just to, have last year's team on our mind and, just advancing for this year's team. So.
Thank you.
Thanks for your question there, Mike. And next up, Corey Clark from warchant.com. Corey, you can unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, Raekwon, you guys didn't hit a three, and you only attempted one in the second half. What was the message at halftime? Obviously, you got Balsa going early in the second half. It just seemed like Coach told you, we're going downhill. Don't shoot threes. Get to the basket.
Not necessarily. I think we just, took what the defense gave us. We knew that we had a height advantage and a strength advantage on those guys, and we didn't want to settle for jump shots. And I think that, our game plan coming in was to, attack the paint and use our athleticism to, get to the basket and, just take what the defense gives us. And we missed some shots, but I think that, our defense was what really pulled us through in this game. So, regardless of how our offense was, I think the defense was the key thing that, pulled this win out for us. So.
Thanks for your question there, Corey. Next up, we'll turn to Kurt Weiler with the Tallahassee Democrat. Kurt, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Raekwon, I think MJ had 4 points and Scotty had 4 points. I mean, it's not a new thing, just the depth of this team and how many different guys can do it. But what's to say about this team? I mean, being able to win an NCAA tournament game when those guys give you, less than 10 points total?
Like I said before, those guys go out and play defense regardless of how, their offensive game is going. And we got a whole team that, can come in and defend anybody. I think that that's what we rely on, especially in the tournament time. All your shots are not going to fall. You're going to miss some easy baskets, but, I mean, you can control what you do on the defensive end and, how much effort you play with. And those guys did that. Scotty's going to bring energy every day, and MJ's a poised senior, and he's been here before, and he want to win. So, I mean, regardless of if their shots is falling or not, they were going to play defense and defend and, make sure we got this win. So I really appreciate those guys, coming out tonight and, giving that effort.
Thank you, Kurt, for your question. For our next question, we'll turn to Lane Hurt with Seminoles.com. Lane, please unmute yourself in a moment here and ask your question.
Hey, Raekwon, how important was your team's composure today? With a team like that, they kept fighting back, fighting back. It could be easy to get frustrated, but you guys were able to keep your composure and each time kind of move that lead back out.
I think that we just learned from our mistakes in the past. Obviously, these last few games, the last couple of weeks of the regular season, that, I mean, you can go to Georgia Tech game, we're up in that game, and the North Carolina game, and, things like that. So I think we just learned from our mistakes, and, we limited our turnovers. We still turned the ball over a little too much today, but I think that, at the end of the game, we just kind of, learned from our past games, taking care of the ball when we needed to, getting quality shots, moving the ball, and, like I said before, getting stops on defense. And that was the key thing that we did down the stretch that we didn't do in the past games that we lost when we were up. So, defense and, just playing smart basketball on the offensive end is really what helped us tonight.
Okay, thanks for your question there, Lane. Moving on. Let's turn to John Tiedel with hoopshd.com. John?
Thanks, John Tiedel from hoopshd.com. Raekwon, I know it must seem like a lifetime ago, but I believe your last tournament game 2 years ago, you went scoreless against Gonzaga. I was curious, either how has your skill set progressed from 2 years ago, and/or did you learn anything from that loss that you think helped you or will help you this year?
I mean, I'm an older guy. I think that my maturity was a huge thing. You know, going back to 2 years ago, I think I was kind of anxious back then, just excited to play as a redshirt freshman. Now I'm an older guy, and I'm one of the leaders on the team that guys look at and lean on. So I think I have to be composed throughout all situations and, you know, just play my game. You know, my teammates believe in me, my coaching staff believe in me. You know, if I just go out there and play my game, I think that, you know, I'll be fine. But, you know, definitely the maturity thing is, you know, the comparison from 2 years ago.
Go back to Mike with the Orlando Sentinel.
Yeah, Raekwon, the ACC didn't have such a great opening day of the tournament. Looks like you guys might be carrying the torch for the league. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of control. We can control. You know, we can't control what the other teams play or, you know, if they win or not. But I mean, it's kind of sad to see those teams go away so quick. But I mean, like I said, we're going to control. We control, and Colorado's our next opponent. You know, we're looking forward to those guys, and we definitely want to represent the ACC in a good fashion. So, you know, obviously, we're going to take pride in that and try to win this thing for our conference, and, you know, show that we're the best conference in the country.
Corey with warchant.com. Please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Yeah, Raekwon, I was wondering, did Coach Hamilton even tell you guys he had hurt himself? And I guess he's still standing. He looks like the same guy, even with, I guess, a ruptured Achilles. And I know he's a serious dude, but do you make fun of him at all? Are you guys allowed to do that?
Yeah, I mean, he's a fun guy, so I mean, he don't really mind. But we saw him just walking to practice one day with a boot on, and, you know, he explained to us what happened. You know, he kind of keep things to himself to, you know, limit distractions on our team. So obviously, you know, that's our head coach. We care about him, about his health and stuff like that. But, you know, he's a tough guy. You know, he doesn't really can tell us how he's feeling or complain about it. So he just want to keep going, and that's what we kind of take on the mentality, just keep going and not let the things bother. So I mean, but he's a tough guy. You know, we crack jokes here and there about him walking around in his boot, but, you know, that's our guy. You know, we're going to go out there and play for him. So.
Thanks for that question, Corey. Matt Merschel from the Orlando Sentinel. Matt, you can unmute yourself here in a second. Ask your question.
Yeah, Raekwon, how big was it for Balsa early on in the second half to kind of get you guys going, maybe as you guys were maybe coming out of the intermission? What did you see of his performance today?
It was huge. You know, we depend on him a lot, you know, inside for rebounds, block shots, scoring. And when he's aggressive, I think that's when we're at our best. You know, he's a huge part of our team, you know, but when he's going, I think that we're definitely a high-level team. And, you know, we tell him all the time we have confidence in him, so just to play his game. And I think, you know, obviously being the first game in his first tournament game, he had to settle down a little bit, but I think he did that coming out in the second half. And obviously you saw we wanted to run when he was playing, you know, aggressive and being who he was. So, I mean, he had a great performance, and I think that he's going to keep building off of it. And, you know, sky's the limit for him. And I think that he's going to be a huge part of our tournament run this year.
Thanks, Matt. Time for another couple of questions. Matt, you have a follow-up there?
Yeah. You know, do you know anything about, obviously, you guys are going to play Colorado. Do you guys know anything of Colorado going into this next game?
I mean, I've watched them a few times, you know, just late night up on ESPN and stuff like that. Caught a few Pac-12 games, but, I mean, as a team, we haven't really sat down and discussed those guys yet, and I think we'll do that later tonight, you know, once we get back and settled. And they're a good team, obviously. You know, not many teams make it to the round 32, and they're one of those teams. So, obviously, they're a good team, and they come out a great conference, and it's going to be a good basketball game. So, I think that we're going to have to come in with that same mentality, just, you know, trying to win the game by all means and, you know, let the chips fall where they fall. And, obviously, they're a good team, like I said before, but we're just going to game plan later today and find out and some things about them.
Thank you.
Go to Mike with the Orlando Sentinel.
So you guys didn't know that Coach Hamilton had ruptured his Achilles until he shows up at practice in a boot. Is that right? And do you guys borrow from his toughness? I mean, he's walking around out there like nothing's wrong.
Yeah, I mean, he just came to practice one day, and he's a little late, just walking in with a boot, and we kind of just asked, and he explained. So, I mean, but yeah, like I said before, he's a tough guy. You know, that's how he, you know, instills toughness in us. You know, he doesn't like to complain about anything or, you know, let little things bother him. So, I mean, he's walking around as if, you know, he's healthy 100%, even though, you know, regardless of how he's feeling, he's going to show up every day and, you know, be the same coach and, you know, be that leader for us. And I think that we lean on that a lot. And, seeing him walk around in the boot is like, extra motivation to go out there and play for something. That's our guy and that's our head coach, and we all love him. So.
Okay, thanks, Mike. We start to wrap up here. Chris Heidel, go ahead.
Hey, thanks for taking my question. What does it mean to win today after last week's tough loss to Georgia Tech in the championship game? What did you guys do to be more focused on winning this first round match?
Obviously, it means a lot. First off, it means a lot. Not many teams can, advance in around 32. We just had to, be ourselves. I think that, the AC championship game was not the team that we're capable of. I think today was just a snippet of it. I think we want to keep getting better as we advance throughout the tournament. But I think we just went out today and was ourselves. We defended. We got after it. We rebounded, played tough, and, made some great plays down the stretch. And that's who we are. That's our identity. So I think as long as we keep being ourselves, we have a chance to win this championship. And, that's our mentality going to each game, just to be ourselves and, and let the chips fall where they fall.
Okay, finally, Mike.
No, I didn't have any more questions. Thank you.
You're good? Okay, thanks. Well, then, Benjamin Myerson, you're last up.
Hey, Raekwon. I was just wondering, you guys have you succeeded this year with your offense. You're the #1 scoring team in the ACC. But this game, you really relied on your defense. Can you just talk about how important that is and, especially in the tournament, how that can really lead to success for you guys?
It's super important. I think that, not many people view as a defensive team, but if you know Florida State basketball and Coach Ham, that, we're junkyard dogs. We get after it on the defensive end. I think we had a few slip-ups in these last few games, and, we know what we're capable of on the defensive end, and I think that we showed that a little bit tonight. And we still can clean some things up, but I think our defense is going to take us to where we need to be. And, defense win championship, that's what everyone's saying. That's what we believe in. That's what our coaches preach, and, that's what we're going to rely on, regardless of how our offense is. We can always fall back on our defense and effort, and that's what they preach us, and that's what we're going to do, for the rest of the tournament.
Raekwon, thank you so much. Congratulations again. Best of luck in the next round.
Thank you.
And everyone will be joined momentarily by FSU head coach Leonard Hamilton. You can use this time right now to either raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Bring me another chair. Bring me that chair. Got wheels on it.
John, can you see Coach all right?
Yep, we do see Coach Hamilton. Coach, if you're set to start, flash a thumbs up and we'll get going. Great. Thank you for your time, Coach Hamilton. And we will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Hamilton. Then we'll go to questions. When we do, a reminder to use the raised hand function to indicate you'd like to ask a question. When you're called on for your question, please state your name and media affiliation first so that Coach Hamilton knows who he's speaking with. And Coach, if you can go ahead, please give us a brief opening statement before we go to questions.
Well, you got to give Coach Miller a tremendous compliment because I thought he had his guys very well prepared. I thought they executed their game plan. We got out on them early. They fought back. We had a stretch there where we were defending, getting stops. And then the stretch where we turned the ball over 4 in 6 possessions, and that gave them a chance to get back into the game at halftime. We came out the second half, and we extended the lead, and they fought back again. That just says a lot about what he's instilled in his team, the confidence they believe in their system. And when I look at the stat sheet, I'm really surprised that they only shot 25% from 3 because if someone had asked me without me looking at the stat sheet, I would have thought they was raining threes from the parking lot. Different than us, we the #1 3-point shooting team in the ACC. and we were able to win a game going 0 for 9 from 3. You know, we've had some challenges of late. We turned the ball over 25 times in the Georgia Tech game. We came tonight and we didn't shoot the ball well from 3. So I'm looking at that as a positive when we have been able to be competitive. We didn't win the game in the ACC tournament, but I thought that we bounced back and was able to overcome a little bit of adversity. You know, I think it says a lot that our guys are real anxious. I thought we had a lot of uncontested threes. I thought our guys were not really settled down. I thought they wanted it so bad that I thought that mentally, emotionally, we tried this a little too hard. Hopefully we'll settle down and relax a little bit better and be better and go into our next game from our standpoint. But the University of North Carolina Greensburg gave us all we wanted today. It was a handful, and you got a handful, and they ought to be commended.
Thank you for that, Coach Hamilton. Now we'll go to questions from the media. And again, use the raised hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. And our first question is from Kurt Weiler with the Tallahassee Democrat. Kurt, please unmute yourself here in a second and then go ahead and ask your question.
Hey, Leonard, you talked about the three-point shooting. Was that something of seeing the success you were having inside, you maybe moved away from it more in the second half, and there was a more effort of pushing the ball inside? Because, I mean, you only took, I think, one shot in the second half from outside the arc.
You know, I'm going to have to go back and watch the film, but I'd like to think that maybe North Carolina Greensboro understood that we were a pretty good three-point shooting team, and I thought they got to our shooters pretty good. But I also think that in the second half, we got stops and got some deflections and got out and got some baskets attacking the rim, and it's one of those games where we did not decide that we were not going to attack from the perimeter. I thought we were taking what the defense gave us that was given us, and we attacked more on the dribble drive and had post ups and went to the boards, got some offensive rebounds, got to the free throw line, and we were able to get some easy baskets. And sometimes that makes up for when you're not shooting the ball very well. But I think our defense was the thing that won the game for us today. When you're not shooting real well and you turn the ball over, your defense can carry you in games like this, and this is what happened for us today.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Next, Mike with the Orlando Sentinel. Please unmute yourself, identify yourself, and then ask your question.
Yeah, Coach Mike Bianchi with the Orlando Sentinel. Raekwon was saying that you're walking around practicing that boot as if nothing is wrong with you, and they borrow their toughness from you. Are you in pain? And they said on TV today that you didn't want to use one of those scooters. Why is that?
Well, they say pain is temporary. You know, it's not something that's going to last all the time. And we have a job to do, and we're going to work through whatever challenges that we have. I mean, I've been injured very few times in my life, and we in the NCAA tournament, and my guys depend on me, so if I'm going to ask them to work hard and challenge themselves, I have to do the same thing to some degree. This is part of it, and to be very honest with you, I didn't even know I had the boot on once the game started. So it's something I just gotta. It's a nuisance. It's a challenge, but there are more important things than worrying about me having a little pain.
Are you going to have surgery?
I'll wait and let the doctors. We'll have that conversation when I get back to Tallahassee.
Thanks.
Thanks. Moving along now, Corey Clark with warchant.com, where you can unmute yourself, identify yourself, ask your question.
Leonard, was that as well for most of the game that you guys have played defensively this year or close to it? I mean, I know they hit some shots, but even some of the shots they hit were really well contested.
No doubt about that. I thought our guys were locked in almost to a fault. You know, I thought we were really anxious, wanted to get that bad taste out of our mouth of losing the game last week. You know, our guys got a culture, and they challenge each other, call each other out, and there was no doubt that they were very, very hyped up, so to speak. And I think sometimes when you're hyped up like that, you can want something too bad. But on the defensive end, I thought we were energetic. We contained the dribble. We stuck with the game plan. We knew that if you didn't contest shots, they were going to knock shots down. But they have such an uncanny strength of ball handling and the ability to get into the lane and create for each other is as good as any teams that we played this year. So not only did we have to contest shots, we had to contain the dribble, but we had to shrink the gaps when the guys got by you to at least deter them from getting in and getting their kick-out jumpers. And in the first half, they got a few in the lanes where they got in and kicked out, and they made us pay. So, but I thought we made some adjustments the second half, and just enough for us to get a spurt or two to get a little separation and pull the game out toward the end. And I think you see there are a lot of what you guys label as mid-major teams that are playing Power 5 and major college teams right down to the wire. That just says a lot about how the game of college basketball is evolving. The high school, the AAU, guys are developing, and players are at every school. They're really got this unique opportunity to get a scholarship, get the education. A lot of guys are benefiting from this unique and special opportunity we have, and it says a lot about where basketball's going and how it's growing. That on any given night, anybody can win, and that's why I'm so thankful that we were able to pull this out today, because this team played almost well enough to win. That just says a lot about the state of college basketball, the parity, and the development of the high school and AAU programs that are developing kids at an accelerated rate. And no one really talks about the positive aspects of development.
Corey, do you have anything else there?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, then thanks, Corey. Moving on, Lane Hurt from Seminoles.com. Lane, go ahead, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Coach Balsa has had some of his best games down the stretch. Another one today, nearly a double-double. We saw the improvement early in the season from year one to year two. How much has he improved throughout this season?
Well, Balsa told me the other day that what he's trying to do is play to exhaustion and then come out the game. He thinks that sometimes he paces, not necessarily paces himself, but that's not, this has been his focus here the last several games. And he seemed to be more productive when he's really going to exhaustion and then actually come out of the game. He's blocking shots, rebounding. He's running the floor, giving us a inside presence that I think is really showing his capabilities. And he's only a sophomore, and I think his best basketball is ahead of him.
Okay, thank you, Lane. Time for a couple more. Daniel Rodriguez, please unmute yourself, identify your affiliation, and ask your question.
Hey, Coach, this is Daniel Rodriguez with This League with Daniel. First off, I want to say congratulations on winning the game. And I wanted to ask how it was coaching against Coach Miller, who he mentioned a couple of days ago. He played against you. Now he's coaching against you in the tournament. How is that? You know, you're coaching against someone that you played against, and maybe what was said after the game about Coach Miller and just overall.
Well, you know, I made a facetious comment about him in some media outlet when we played them when he was a senior, I believe. He was a walk-on and seldom used walk-on. And we were leading the game. I thought the game could have gone either way, and we were defending, I think, Carolina when they had one of their better teams. And they put him in the game, and I believe he hit 3 threes in the last 5 minutes of the game. And I told somebody I was going to have to give him a knuckle sandwich for cutting our heart out in that particular game. So the first thing he said to me tonight, he said, "Well, Coach, I heard your comment about the knuckle sandwich," and he started laughing because that was truly one of the most disappointing games that I've participated in. I thought we had everything planned. We had everybody guarded. He wasn't even in the scouting report. He came off the bench, and Roy used his Hall of Fame magic to put him in the game, and he knocked down about, I think it's about 3 threes, and they were able to come away with a victory, and that just broke my heart. And we laughed and joked about that. But he's done a tremendous job at Greensboro. I mean, I can't say enough about the job that he's been doing. Gosh, I don't know if with all the jobs that are open, someone's going to realize the outstanding job that he's done and be trying to steal him away from Greensboro, because he's done a fantastic job. Great game plan. The kids played hard. They were disciplined. We had to work hard to win this game, and that says a lot about the great and fantastic job that he's doing with that basketball program.
Next, we'll go to James Hill with BNC Sports. James, go ahead.
Coach, a great tournament win is always good, whether you win by 1 or by 30. Can you talk about the tournament win today and what you see so far?
You just want to survive in advance, and we probably could have played a little better, and that's a positive. I know we're going to get back in rhythm. Not very many teams have this opportunity to move on to the next round. Every team in America starts the season off, 380-some teams, wanting to be in the NCAA tournament, and everybody would love to be able to stand on that ladder and hold that one finger up and say, we're number one. So in order to be number one, gosh, we got to be one of 32. And so now we're moving on to being one of 32, and it's a tremendous privilege and an honor to be in this position, to have this opportunity, and we're going to do everything we can to take advantage of it.
Coach, thanks so much for your time. Congratulations again, and best of luck now moving on.
Thank you.
That's it for this post-game news conference. A transcript of Coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Thank you so much for joining us here today, and have a good rest of your afternoon.